is a way of life, a complete way.
My name is Dr. S. Ramu. I am not a Muslim, but I was born and brought up in a Muslim atmosphere, educated completely in a Muslim school. I am tremendously influenced by the teachings of Prophet Muhammad and what is contained in the Quran. And I happen to go through English as well as Tamil version of Quran. For a long time, I have been raising a simple doubt, which I want to present here. Take, for example, Christianity is being preached and followed almost all over the world, because I think it is being propagated in the language of the folk, in the language of the people, where it is being propagated. For example, in Tamil Nadu, in most of the Christian propagations are made in Tamil. People are allowed to worship Jesus Christ or to do any kind of worship in the vernacular language, in the local language. Whereas Islam is insisting on the Arabic language only. I think that is the major impediment for people to follow Islam and to understand what is contained in Quran. Therefore, is there any solution for this, that prayer or worship can be allowed in the local languages? Quran can be translated in almost all languages and made cheaper, available to the people, so that even the common man can understand Islam and follow. And this question I place before you, and I seek some answer. Is there any positive solution for this? Because the language can easily attract people. Tamil language through which you can spread Islam, the good teachings of Islam. Nowadays, Islam is being the most misinterpreted religion. It is being deliberately done by some section of the society, which is not acceptable. I don't accept such a miscreant propaganda. Therefore, I request, is there any solution for this problem? And will you allow local languages to be followed in your worship? Thank you very much.
Arabic also allows Muslims to worship together wherever they are. If I went to Peking and people called the adhan, the call to prayer, in Chinese, then I wouldn't know, because the mosques in China don't look like the mosques in India. There's not a special shape that a mosque has to take. It's just a place of worship. It could be a room, a single room. So the adhan, or the call to prayer, is done in Arabic, so that if I happen to be in Peking, I would know that there is a mosque here, and I would enter that mosque. And if the imam, the one who leads the prayer, led the prayer in Chinese, I wouldn't know what is going on either. But since prayer is done in Arabic, I can join in his prayer. So the Arabic becomes a unifying force for Muslims throughout the world. Wherever they go, regardless of their languages, they're able to pray together. Furthermore, as my brother mentioned, it is the language of the original revelation. And Muslims are all enjoined and encouraged to learn some Arabic, to stay in contact with the words of God, of Allah, as they were revealed. As he said, translation gives you an idea of the meaning, but the words of God themselves have their own beauty, have their own impact. So the translation of the meanings of the Quran has been done in most of the major religions of the world. We have the Quran's meanings translated into Tamil. This is an example of the Tamil translation of the meanings of the Quran, as well as many other languages. So we appreciate your suggestion, and I hope you've understood the reasoning.
Next question, please.
I'm Nirmal Raj. I was told by my Muslim friends that God created us to worship Him. And those people who are worshipping Him, they'll go to heaven, and those who are not worshipping Him, they'll be passed into the hell. And my doubt is that, our whole purpose of life is only to worship God? Or do our life have some other purpose? And if so, what is the actual purpose of our life?
When the Quran states that Allah created human beings and the spirit world we know as the jinn solely for worshiping Him, that means that for Muslims, according to Muslim belief, that is the essential purpose of life, to worship God. But we have to ask ourselves, what do we mean by worship? See, if we think of worship as merely calling on God and asking Him when we have a need, then that is not what is meant by the statement that we were created to worship God. What is meant is that we live all of our lives in accordance with His will. In doing so, we are worshiping. So worship includes all aspects of life, from the time you get up in the morning, how you function, how you clean yourself, how you deal with your family, how you deal at work, in all aspects of your life, till you go to bed at night, when you go back to sleep. All of that becomes worship if you do it in accordance with what God has prescribed for you. So that way of life which God has prescribed, which transforms all of your acts into worship, that way of life brings out from the human being the best, makes him or her the best that he or she can be. So that's the idea, that is the goal behind it. So this life being, this world being a transition world, we believe that there is a greater life to come, the everlasting life. This life is a limited life. We're born at a certain point, we die at a certain point. So this is a transitional world. The state of our world to come depends on this life. Depends on us living this life in the way which God wanted us to live the life. If we do so, we earn the better life in the life to come. If we don't, then we lose that. So worship enables us to achieve the goal of this life, or the purpose of the life that we're living. Is that clear? You have a follow-up on it? Go ahead.
I'm satisfied with your answer. But one doubt is, what does He expect out of us? Why should He create such a test to us?
The issue of what does He expect of us, that is the religion, that is the way of life which He has prescribed for us. That's what He expects of us, to live to our utmost potential in good and in goodness and in righteousness. That is what is expected of us. Why did He create us and expect that of us? He is the creator. Being the creator, He created. You don't ask the painter why you painted. In the same way, you don't ask the creator why he created. There's a point of questioning where we accept, well, this is one of the attributes of the one God who rules this world. He is the creator, and He created us. He chose this life for us because it was what was best for us. Those who follow His instructions and do what is required, then this life becomes, in fact, best for us. Those who follow a life of their own choice, enjoy here, disregard the instructions of God, then this life will be a source of torment for us in the next.
Islam is a way of life.
My name is Ambalavanan. Throughout my life, my observation of all the religions, this is my perception. I am not casting any aspirations. The meaning of forgiveness and forgiveness and tolerance, is it wanting in this religion? Because the way in which you have put the invitation, the aftermath of the September 11th incident, the Islam's tolerance and Islam's forgiveness principle, you need much more explanation or much more level of tolerance.